Uh, oh, it looks like we are live. Excellent, excellent. Hope everybody is enjoying their Monday, first day of the work week. This Omar with Fade to Gray podcast coming here, the Podfather. We have Clay from the Recast, who looks like he's frozen right now. Clay, are you there? Clay, speak to me. Okay, well, apparently you're experiencing some technical difficulties with Clay. Let me see if I can't remove him and bring him back and see if that helps at all. So, hope everyone's having a great Monday. I think maybe StreamYard's experiencing the Mondays, or Clay's internet might be. So, until he pops back on, you get just me. So that's what's going on. It's the Podfather. Hope everyone's well. Had a great weekend. First week of football, we made it through a week. We're into halfway through game one of the doubleheader on Monday night. And it's been a pretty good game so far. Have to say, guys, after watching the Thursday night game, wasn't sure what to expect. COVID, nobody's really been tackling, wasn't sure how sloppy football was going to be, or nobody going to be in the stands, what's it going to be like. And as far as football is concerned, I've been pretty impressed, been very impressed. But what I haven't been impressed with, and what I'm here to rant about, because I didn't come on just to talk about football. I mean, come on. Football is fun, and I love it. But what I haven't been impressed by is people's comments and, like, interactions on Facebook and stuff that I've read from the protest, the peaceful protest. Clay's back, guys, by the way. Clay,
sorry about that.
Hey, welcome.
Hey, what's up, guys?
I figured you were doing a peaceful protest over there. I was just getting into basically, first of all, how are you doing? Sensing you're having a case, or your internet's having a case of the Mondays at least.
Yeah, no, it's my computer. As much money I spent on it, it's wanting to be a pain in my ass. But I'm doing pretty good. It's good. It's a good Monday for me. So, how about yourself, bud?
Good. Like I said, I've been enjoying the weekend. I've been watching football. Been betting. See, you can bet out here in Pennsylvania. And so one thing I've learned is it's okay for me to bet on football. I know that a little bit, but do not start getting like greedy and do midday bets of European soccer, because I don't know shit about that. And I'm just like I'm like, oh, the odds are great. Like I mean, they're up 3-0 at halftime. They're gonna win, and then
right.
I check it. I check it like an hour later. I'm like, what? They're like 5-3. What just happened? So anyway. So don't do that. But no, I was just getting ready to start talking about some reactions and stuff from people on Facebook about the peaceful protest. The first one that happened Thursday night in Kansas City. I don't know if you saw that or know anything about. They did this whole like lock arms moment of unity. Literally took maybe a minute and a half just for the people to get lined up all together. They locked arms for like a second. While they were doing that, stuff on the screen was going on, like words that saying like, Black Lives Matter, unity, remember their names, like nothing negative, nothing political whatsoever, but you have a league of young, like 70% black and brown people that grew up in poor and impoverished neighborhoods, have seen firsthand some of the stuff that we're talking about. It's not just, but the reactions from people were like, well, I'm walking away from not watching any NFL. I'm already not watching NBA. Now I can't watch NFL. I just have to watch baseball, or something along those lines. Because I can't even watch NASCAR because NASCAR is protesting now as well. So
well, I mean, they banned the flag. NASCAR banned the flag. So I mean, that's a step, right?
That's a big deal. So there's been a lot of angry people who aren't. That's the whole thing. They're not racist, but they just can't stand it because everything's becoming, they call it political. When I don't see anything about politics whatsoever, I see something about like injustice and people actually standing up for something they believe and trying to make a difference. And people are just losing their shit. And so let me just do a whole timeline of this peaceful protest, the kneeling, how it all started with our good old boy Colin Kaepernick. Good old boy. That's not the right words to put with Colin Kaepernick, but maybe his parents. Maybe his parents were good old boys, but no, Colin. I have a whole lot of respect for that man. He's like helped like all the, Nubian half Black people to really be accepted more, and use our white privilege, to speak out for things like this.
Right.
And so big ups to him. So Colin Kaepernick, everyone hopefully knows who he is. If not, just real quick, October in 2017. Oh, this is second page of my notes. Sorry, guys. So this will be quick too, don't worry. All right, so Colin Kaepernick in 2013 came 5 yards away from becoming the Super Bowl champion and just had an amazing season. And then 3 years later, he found himself on the bench. Like the San Francisco 49ers he was playing with had gone through 2 coaches at that point, and he was like maybe even like third string quarterback at that point. I wasn't a fan of Colin Kaepernick. He ran over my Panthers on their Super Bowl run in 2013 and kind of disrespected Cam in the way. So I just was like, fuck that guy anyway. But then he basically sat on the bench during the national anthem in a preseason game in 2016. The TV cameras caught it. People lost their shit. He ended up actually talking to a veteran who, was trying to get some understanding, who was a fan of Kaepernick, and was like, why are you sitting during the anthem? That's disrespectful. And Colin explained it to them. They actually had a face-to-face conversation. This is right. COVID, and explained. And the veteran basically asked Colin, "Hey, well, I understand what you're doing, but if you could kneel, that would be more respectful than just sitting." And so from that point, Colin started kneeling, and other players followed suit. And then kind of 2017, a year later, January 1st, Colin played his last NFL game. Again, he's not the greatest quarterback in my opinion. He led a team to the Super Bowl, but he's still better than some that are playing now. So whatever that means. And then, but also that year, so that was September 22nd of 2017, our great POTUS, that would be Donald J. Trump, says at a rally that wouldn't you love, I can't do a Trump voice, but basically, wouldn't you love to see one of those, those NFL owners, when someone disrespects our flag, to say, get the fuck off the field right now. And and everybody was like, yeah, go. And by the way, I just dropped the F-bomb, but see, for Facebook, since I'm on Facebook, I'm censoring myself with my shirt that I have on today. So you're welcome with that. So we got respect over there. Why is it's always backwards? I point. There we go. My man's like that. Right, anyway, pause for that commercial break. Back to okay, and that was the first time up until that point I didn't have any issue. So 2017 with Trump until that point, I didn't vote for the man, but I'm like, he was kind of comical. I thought he was pretty much just harmless. But when this was like the first time where I was like, whoa, wait a minute, you're the president of the United States, and you're up there talking about him disrespecting the flag, and that's not what you could use this as an opportunity to mention something about the police brutality or something about why he's actually protesting. Instead, you're just buying into this a narrative that was already going on with the media and stuff about how it's disrespecting the flag. And we can get into that a little bit too, because if you look up flag code, which I'm not going to do for you right now, there is no disrespecting the flag by kneeling during the anthem. But there are a lot of things that we do with the flag, do respect flag code, and a lot of it has to do with capitalism and making the flag into shirts, into clothing. The giant flag they use at NFL games, all those different things are actually in the flag code as disrespectful and supposed to be able to be penalized somehow, but it never does because capitalism is the actual god that rules everything anyway. So getting back to that, we have that same year, 3 days after the president says that, the NBA then joins the NFL in protest as well by locking arms during the national anthem and things like that, which it's important to note at this point that the NBA is 75% black and brown, while the NFL is 70% black and brown. So, I mean, there's a reason why this is impacting those sports. Okay, and then we have October 8th, 2017. Vice President Pence was at a Colts game where he gets up and walks out when they're protesting. And not long after that, owners start threatening all players, saying that they will not be able to play if they protest. And so that happened, and things kind of quieted down for a while about people talking about the whole protest and stuff. So people were losing their shit from the beginning over a peaceful protest, and saying that we're disrespecting the flag, yada, yada, yada. We already went over all that. And we had a president that was making things worse back then. And this was in 2017. And here we are, fast forward 2020. We have COVID going on, people losing their jobs, people sitting around bored out of work, not knowing what to do. Police brutality continues to happen. Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, protesting. Things are just getting out of hand. The narrative is still getting just crazy. Now we have hard numbers coming out where 95% of the BLM protest are all still nonviolent. And the 5% that are in isolated areas, not the entire protest. It'd be like
and
a block away from. Yeah, true. This is true. And there's always antagonists or people guarding statues there with assault weapons, which is, I don't even know how to get into all that. So we do have a comment. Andy, what's up, homie? Long time no see. Miss you. Anybody else also feel free to comment. Agree, disagree. However it might be. I just want to get this rant off my chest. You guys let me know what you think, please, in the comments. And so that's where we're at now. And I hear a lot of comments like, why aren't they just doing their jobs? Like they should put their money where their mouth is. They're just overpaid crybabies. And it's like, you're not understanding that a lot of these people, if it wasn't for the NBA or NFL or these opportunities, these are the only opportunities they have to get out of their communities whatsoever. And they are, if you do your homework before you start just accusing them, they are the biggest proponents of people giving back and making a change into any of these communities, like the only people doing something for their communities. And that's why you have so many people from Black and brown communities becoming professional athletes, because they have these people as their heroes, because they're the only people that are actually doing anything, giving a shit and making a difference. And one more point I want to make, Clay, and then I want to hear from you as well. But one more point too with all this is the league is going to continue to get more and more dominantly minority, because you have this whole CTE thing coming out where a lot more people with affluent communities or have other sports that they can play, when they're realizing, hey, I don't want brain injuries. Now they're trying to pick up go to other sports, and in poor communities there's not that option, so people are still flooding to football, and football is still a way out of that community. And so you're going to continue to see more and more Black and brown people from these poor communities end up making NFL. So it's going to become even more of a Black sport than it already is.
Right. And when we look at it's we've given a way out for our brothers and sisters of color to get out and do so. We've given all these things for them to do so, and then we're mad that they're taking a stance for injustices. Like no one gets mad at the guy doing at the guy in NASCAR driving the rebel flag. That's okay, but he's supporting his beliefs or whatever. And so it's one of those things that it's okay on one side but not the other side of the coin. And we auto assume, or even I did for a long time, like, you think in white. And I know that's a big thing to deal with, the white privilege stuff for a lot of people, but like, we think Jesus in white, we think culture in white, because that's what we live here in America for so long. And so when we think sports, you think sports in white, and so when they're taking a stand, finally, we go, oh my God, they're actually taking a stand,
Yeah, it's shocking, but I think we just need to kind of sit back as all of us and realize we're not there for the anthem anyway. There's still like some amazing, like I said at the beginning of this whole rant, there's still some amazing football games being played, some amazing basketball games being played. There's some very competitive, and so and maybe just, it's not political. That's my biggest point I want to make. You can, like, all these people, nobody is like telling you that you need to go vote Democratic or you need to be a Marxist or anything whatsoever. We're just trying to make a change for, and I'll go ahead and say it, it's not just black and brown. Okay, it's police brutality across the board. It's over policing. It's, you got 6 months and you can have a gun to be able to, make a decision to take somebody's life, and you're like in fear, and like there's a lot of, and so like I think it's just bad training. I don't think they're bad people. It's like there's different experiences, there's stigmas, and so I think, I don't know what the answer is. I feel like the answer has to be like better training, sending, like, don't arm every cop. You can show up to situations, traffic violations and stuff like that, without having to become like pulling your gun on somebody, for not having their ID. I just don't get it. So
yeah, and it's something that, like, here where I live, it's predominantly white. I mean, and we even have the first outdoor sports shop ran, owned, and operated by a wonderful black gentleman. And he's the first in the country to run a successful outdoor store in Brand. And that's in my hometown, that me and my family live. And there's even over policing here. I mean, I can tell you stories of interactions with cops where they think because they have this, because of their lack of training, because they spend more time learning to shoot than they do actually engaging with people, that it leads to those type of things. And then it just gets amplified when we see it dealt with like Kaepernick. Because I was on the other side of the fence with Kaepernick. I despised Kaepernick for what he was doing when it first came out. But that's because where I was in the journey, in this deconstruction and everything, and learning out of that. And then realizing, like, it's much more honorable what he's doing than what they're fucking doing with the flag. Because technically, if the flag touches the ground, it's disrespected. Like, that's against flag code. And so there's all this stuff.
I was all lives matter when it first came out, because you're looking at like, I agree Black Lives Matter, but it seems like all lives matter is making a grander statement. And so, but then I quickly realized that all lives matter isn't even really a thing. There is no movement for all lives matter except to counter Black Lives Matter, which is actually doing something. So,
Well, and the thought of this, like, so Black Lives Matter has made statements before that they don't want to be around in 10 years because their hope is to change this to where they're not a thing anymore. They're a cause for a time. Like, they know, and that's what people don't get. Like, this is not some political thing or some making money scheme that this group is doing. They're literally wanting to correct the issue and be gone. And that's it. They want to fight for these injustices. And it's going to take us doing these protests in the stadiums. It's going to take us doing these protests. And I mean, personally, it's going to take some rioting, and that's my personal belief. It's going to take some, screwing some stuff up until they understand,
well, that's a whole nother conversation. And
that is.
I don't disagree only based on history. Like, I'm not violent person at all. But nothing ever gets done, in this country unless shit gets wrecked. So, but we're gonna go ahead and wrap things up now. This was just kind of like the halftime show rant thing. I really appreciate you being here, Clay. And I apologize for everyone that's gonna catch this late. StreamYard only went live on YouTube, so we had Andy was here for most of this, and I appreciate you, Andy.
Yes, thank you.
We'll get this uploaded on Facebook for everybody else, but we won't be able to interact with your comments, and that sucks. But I'll try to throw a comment in, and we'll interact with it. And maybe we'll bring this back up for round 2 if you guys want to hash it out, have any more thoughts and concerns. You're welcome to disagree with me, but I just don't see. And I think that's the biggest thing. If you made it to the end of this, congratulations, 20 minutes. And you don't agree with what I was saying, help me out. Help me understand what your problem is with these young men doing what they believe is right to try to make the world a better place, our world a better place, the world for my children a better place. So help me understand. So that's all. Love you guys. Clay, appreciate you for being here and doing this. Sorry about the technical difficulties. I was going to tell you that
Same.
StreamYard did say something about how you'd get a error message, but everything should be working fine. But they're a bunch of liars.
Right. All right. Well, thank you for having me on. It's always an honor and a joy to get to hang out with you and talk and chit chat. So, yeah.
Yep, we'll do it again soon, man. Take it
Heck
easy.
yeah. Yep. Bye.